Thank you, folks. Isn't it fun to watch TV together? Please welcome back Dana Modan. She's making her way down.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. I'll ask a few questions, but then we'll take some of your questions, and you could dig in deep as well. I want to start with how you came up with the idea of this TV show. I identify it as a show about two broken people trying to fix themselves together.
Yeah, I don't know from where ideas come. I don't know. It's still running. The credits are part of the show, but so it's the biggest answer for any creative person. Where do everyone, because ideas come not only when you're writing or doing something. Where do ideas come from? I don't know. Just we did the same group, Asi and the other guy, and Ram, which is the director. We did another show in 2004, and then we knew that we wanted, 10 years later, we knew we wanted to make a new show. So we're just, we're sitting together and just put on ideas until something would catch up. And in some point, we had the idea that Asi will commit suicide, because it was Asi's, I don't know if you know him, he's the biggest star in Israel like ever. And so for me it was really funny to see him like fat. He would gain weight for the show, and with this funny hair, and so miserable. It just was funny for me. So that's why I wanted him to commit suicide. And for him, it was funny that I would have a heart attack and that I'm fat. So that we didn't know if I'll have a heart attack or he'll commit suicide. And then we said, oh, if we put it together, it would be so funny.
It's like a double negative.
For us, it's such a comedy, and we're laughing all the time during writing it. And I think like 80% of the audience wanted to commit suicide, and people just didn't understand that it was a comedy. But for me, it's very funny.
You need to see it in a big group to get the laughter.
Because many times I saw it several times groups, and sometimes people don't know if it's allowed to funny at the beginning. I saw it here also. You were laughing, and thank you so much for this. But at the beginning, you see someone is trying to commit suicide, and can I laugh? Can I laugh? I don't understand. And until the first one start laughing and say, okay, it's funny, and we can. I just want everybody to laugh all the time.
So you pitch this as a comedy about a guy who wants to commit suicide because he's had a terrible breakup with his wife, and a woman who has a heart attack, and the networks are like green light.
No, actually less, because Asi is such a big star, and I'm a big writer, and we had this hit show before, so we just came to them and say we want to do a show, and they say okay, and after that they really regret it, because our last show, our first show was like a classic rom-com. And they thought that's what they were getting, and they didn't, and they never forgive us for this.
Kachaze, as they say. So the first show was Love Hurts, Vazakoev, and this is kind of like that follow-up. I had mentioned earlier how you've been a real part of the growth of Israeli television. The first time I saw you, or you broke onto the scene, was, and Sam, this is your cue for the first one, was with the show Florentine, which was my favorite show. There. where you were kind of the I don't remember which Spice Girl you were there. It was the sassy Spice, or
I don't know. I'm not so into, but yeah.
But
for me, it's not part of my career because it's acting, and I don't see myself as an actor anymore. I'm a writer. So it's not for me. It's in my resume, but it's not a part of what I'm doing.
So that was really my next question: was if you see yourself as I stole this question from Larry King. He once asked somebody if he sees himself as an actor who writes or a writer who acts.
No, I'm not an actor. I act in my things because I think I'm a servant of my art. So if I think that I'll do this part the best. So I'm doing it for the writing, which is my thing. So I'm not an actor.
And how close are you to the character that you wrote for the show?
I can't tell you. Well, actually, I will tell you a very interesting thing. I think I'm now married, happily married for my fourth time. But the last one, thank you. But the last one, and when we started working on this project, I just moved in with my current husband, and with his two kids and my child, and for me, this was what I wrote about was it was the fantasy of being alone. Because I'm not such a family woman. I like to be alone. I'm a writer. I like to sit in my room and write. I don't want anyone to disturb me. And then it was like it's a song for praise the loneliness. But it was very interesting, and because people think that I write about myself. I don't write about myself. I write about life. I'm part of life. And a lot of people that watch the show thought because a woman alone, so of course she's bitter and she wants someone, and it's about how it's bad for a woman to be alone, and it was the opposite of what I wanted to say, and a lot of single women did understand me. So and a lot of people think till today that I'm alone, that it's so. But I write about not just about myself. I write what I write is my perspective of life and how I see you all, and how I want you to improve, to see what you don't like, and change it. If you can't change the world, change yourself. Yeah.
And let me ask a little bit about that writing process, because the dialogue in this is so unique, and so everybody has like kind of within their characters. Is it all written? Do you improvise? Is it?
No, on screen it's all written to the word. I never, if an actor is changing one word, I can kill really. But the way we did it, we were improvising, Asi and me, because we're a good friend and we're working for several years together, and we had did ideas together, and then we're improvising, and then from the improvising, so I would take what I think is right, and I would write it, and then because I'm the woman, so I'm doing all the hard job, so I. And then we would
taking notes, right?
We would practice it, and then and we rewrite. And my husband is a doctor, so all the doctor, he's writing it. I'm just, now you sit down. It's 11 p.m. You just came back from 5 surgeries. Sit down. I'm your patient now. I had a heart attack. What do you say? Start talking. But he's a really good writer, so it's all improvising with him, all the medical stuff.
I was curious about that research. I'll ask one more question, and then we'll take a question from the audience. I'll also take this moment before we pass it on to mention that you'll all want to see the rest of these episodes, and they're available once again on HiFlix. And Anise over there is happy to help you punch it into your phones. My last question is really your and Sam, this is another cue for you. Your other show, Love Hurts, was picked up as an American remake as well. And obviously, a lot of Israeli shows have this international appeal, and I think now you can't make a show in Israel without thinking about it. Its Netflixability and what kind of international connections. I found this show to be so Israeli at its heart. Did you think about an international audience at all?
I don't think about audience at all, period. That's how I have a career of 30 years now. And I didn't even started yet, from my point of view, because if you can't think about the audience. What is the audience? It's so many people. You can't know what your wife thinks. How can you know how people think? So I have this sentence that my mother told me: you have to do what you want, and then you can be sure that one person is happy. So that's what I do. That's how I roll.
I think it manages to speak really, and this is, I think, the success of Israeli cinema. We've been saying here for years that it's actually speaking in your in first person, in your own voice, allows you to be also universal, because that's something that everyone understands.
Yeah, because we're all the same, unfortunately. Yeah.
Some ways.
And lucky for me, because we're all the same, so people understand. I can go here and you understand what I'm saying, and I can go to India and people understand what I'm saying. So it's good for me.
So will we see an American remake of this one? Well, not that one.
Maybe it's a negotiation, yeah.
Okay. Okay, hope they don't ruin it. We'd love to take any questions, comments, thoughts that you might have in the form of a question. They're being very shy. But we got one. We'll pass the microphone around. We got one right here.
So how would you describe your changes from, let's say, 10 years ago, or we saw this picture of you? You were obviously a different person at that time. So how would you describe your changes, your evolution, your personality, your feelings, your perspectives, from this first marriage to the fourth marriage, and so on?
It's getting better all the time, as the Beatles said. No, I'm a happier person. I love myself more. I love life more. So it's changing. I don't know. I'm more. I don't know. I'm a pro-life person. Always have been, but I think something is more acceptance. I don't know. All the cliches. I think.
The show talks a lot about loneliness, I feel.
Yeah.
And I was just reading this article yesterday about how loneliness is actually not good for the health. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you live longer.
Yeah.
Without it.
Yeah, and I think now this is the show aired in 2018, and I didn't watch it for a long time, and now I thought it's like. Now after COVID, loneliness has become such a big. It wasn't big issue before, but now I think it's much bigger. It's a thing, and I don't know how we're gonna solve it.
I know a few tricks, but I think it's become more relevant, and I think it's a topic that needs to be explored and engaged with and embraced too.
Yeah.
And I think this show does a great job with that. We have a question on the balcony there. We'll pass you the mic.
Hi, thank you. It was amazing. I'm really interested in the concept and the way that you present. You talk a lot about loneliness. That also interests me. And you talked about it, like there's lots of aspects in the series, obviously, about loneliness. It's the part that he kind of, the mental place that they kind of get explained, how important it is to not have loneliness or to deal with loneliness. But you said that you're a person that wants loneliness, like you want to be by yourself. So I was interested about your experience about
Yeah.
loneliness,
Yeah.
even maybe in relationships, or where does this thought about loneliness come
Yeah.
from for you?
There is a big difference between being alone and being lonely. It's a big difference. I don't like being lonely. I am lonely sometimes because I'm a person. I'm a human being. And I don't know how is it in English. No, Dr. Seuss, he has this in Hebrew. I tell it to my child all the time. We can translate really good, really quick. How do you say? כשיוצאים מגיעים למקומות פלאים, מי יודע להגיד?
Oh, the places you'll go.
Yeah, in Dr. Seuss, so he said, I'll say in Hebrew, and okay?
We'll try it. I'm sure I'll get corrected
Yeah.
like 17 times. from people.
רגע. לבד, אם תאהב זאת או לא תאהב. Alone, if you like, it won't rhyme as Dr. Seuss, so look it afterwards. At your closest bookshop. לבד, אם תאהב זאת או לא תאהב, לבד זה מצב שתהיה בו זמן רב. Alone, if you like it or you don't like it, it's a thing you're gonna have a long time of your life. So we can't do anything for as a writer. I can tell you that my best writing is it at the end of the day that I want to kill myself because I'm so lonely. I have not to talk to anyone. If I'm lucky, I can not talk to anyone for 3 days in a row, and I feel really so lonely. And then something that's just, and I say, why I'm doing it? I'm quitting this. I will never write again. I'll never do it again. And then at 2 a.m. after 3 days of not talking to anyone, schlag, something opens, and because you have to make. I have to have this space for find the things. So I think there's a big difference, but you cannot be lonely. I think if you're not lonely, so you're not honest with yourself. You can fill the void with a lot of things. That today we have the phone. We can not be lonely, like for years, but we're dead inside. If that's what we do, you have to go deep to find diamonds in your ground. I don't know.
It's what the internet is for, to avoid the loneliness. We got a question up here.
Don't fight, accept. That's always works.
Hi, you mentioned being an artist for at least 30 years, and I'm curious about what were those aha moments that you had throughout your career that you can come as a form of advice for young artists.
I'm not sure I understood the question.
So, for your artistic process, you probably had a lot of, from your experience, like moments that you were like, like this is what I've learned, or this is what I'm doing differently, or this is
What I've learned?
a big change for me as an artist.
What I've learned? Well, I'm learning something every day. I think it. Well, I know that maybe the now I think that the most important thing I gained is to know that you have to walk the road, and there's always difficulties, and there are always things that will really interrupt in your way, but I have the perspective to know that things at the end they're okay. And when I was younger, when things went and things always going wrong, always, like when you shoot a thing like this, you shoot 12 hours a day, but what comes out of it is 5 minutes. So what do you do with all the hours? just everyone disturbing the other person that works, like the lighter. So the one that doing. Sorry, I'm jet lagging. It's a good excuse for my poor English. But like someone is putting the light, and then but it disturbed the actor to go, so we have to move the light. So we go there, but then he's disturbing the cameraman who has this shot. So we have to move this camera. Everybody has to move all the time, not to disturb anyone. And then when you find how to work it out, then a plane comes and it's noise. And then, okay, so you wait, and the plane passes, and then there's like electricity problem. And then electricity comes back, but then it's time to break for lunch. And then, it's unbelievable. It's just disturbance after disturbance. So when I was younger, it was just, just getting crazy, and we weren't gonna make it. But then it's okay. Eventually, it's happening. It's okay. So just don't panic and keep working. I'm every day. I wake up. I go to my studio. I open the computer, and I'm working every day of my life. So just.
Dana's
and no is the best answer you can get from anyone. Also.
And don't talk to anybody for 3 days, and then you'll get the real pearls.
Yeah.
Try it out. Everybody should try a 3-day,
Yeah.
3-day
And leave
non-talking
your phone
diet.
away.
And put the phone away.
Put the phone away.
We'll take one last question down here.
I really enjoyed this series.
Thank you.
My comment is about what you shared about your writing process and your improvisation with your partner, and then your acting, which you kind of diminished in a way for us here. I thought it was so profound the way you did it. It was totally quiet, like the move of a lip or your eye spoke those 12 hours that you worked on the 5 minutes. I was wondering if that was conscious, the dichotomy between the text we heard and your portrayal of the role.
Yeah, of course. That is a part about writing for myself. That I write for my abilities, for my dimensions. I don't demand for myself things I cannot do. As a director, I can ask from an actress to do things that I cannot do. But for me, I write things that I can do, and of course there is a magic, but you have to give a chance to the magic to happen. I will end with a joke that I love. If it's a joke, it's like maise. About this person that all his life, his dream was winning the lottery, and he said, "God, please, just let me win the lottery, please." And he never won the lottery, and then he died and went to heaven and he met God and said, "God, well, what a person are you? I wanted to win the lottery so much." She said, "But you didn't buy a ticket." So just buy the ticket.
Dana. I want to give one more thank you to IAC for partnering tonight. HiFlix is where you can catch the rest of the series. Join us for more programs here together. Movies are always better together. And have a good night. Thank you very much. Toda rabah.